Welcome to another video. So in this video we're going to be changing the master cylinder. This is on a Dodge 01 Ram 2500, but pretty much all your Dodge master cylinders are going to be set up the same way. So what you basically get is a master cylinder without the reservoir, and unless your reservoir is leaking or something like this, you don't need a new reservoir for it. You can reuse it. And there's virtually just two lines that need to be removed, so this is not a hard job at all. So we're going to get to it, and the first thing we're going to do is, if you look at the master cylinder, there's your two brake lines. So we're going to crack those loose, take those loose. You want to set something underneath of it to catch any fluid that leaks out. And be sure to watch it till the end of it. I'm going to show you a real easy way to bleed it. Now don't pull the reservoir off yet, because you're going to have fluid dumping out all over the place. So go ahead, take those lines loose, and then we'll move on to the next thing. Okay, with those lines removed right here, you can see one, there's one right behind it. So yours engine bay probably doesn't look this way. I have a lot of upgrades on here. I have a tuner and a water methanol. Just take a second, if you would like to work on these trucks more, subscribe and take a look. We have tons of videos, everything from transmission rebuild, brakes, water pump, compound turbos, water methanol, have everything that you can imagine for these trucks. So subscribe and take a look around and see what can help you. But the next thing we have to do, if you can look down in here, let's see if I get a view of it. There's a bolt on each side of the master cylinder, and there's a bracket here. You can see the bracket. That just slides on the threads in front of the master cylinder, and it holds up one of your supply lines for your hydraulic brake booster. Okay, so you can just slide that off of there and get it out of the way. And we also have videos on replacing the hydraulic brake booster, power steering pump, everything. So take a look, see what can help you out. So we just take those two nuts off, and the master cylinder will just slide forward and come off of there. So we're going to do that, and then we'll see what we have to do to remove the reservoir. Okay, so the next thing we got to do is get the reservoir off. So if you look here, there's two pins, and they're just the drive-through pins. Now, they should give you new ones with your reservoir, but you could with your master cylinder, but you could probably reuse them again. So you just take a punch, get a punch or something of the sorts, and knock them out. Now you'd want to try to set this on something away from your reservoir, because you don't want to bang on your reservoir. You could crack it or what have you like that. After you drive the pins out, it still may not come off real easy, so you might have to work with it and all, wiggle it back and forth, pry it a little bit to get it out. But just be careful not to break it, or you'll be buying a new reservoir. And you can see the fluid that's already come out. You want to put it in a pan or something like that to catch in your fluid, because once you pop this off, all the fluid that's in here is going to come out. And excuse me, you don't want to reuse that fluid at all, so it doesn't matter if pan's been used for other oily things. You want to throw it away and use all nice clean new fluid. And when you go to put it back on, see, it should have new rubber pieces in here. If you find it very, very difficult, put a little bit of brake fluid on there, and that will lubricate it some, help it slide in better. And then you have your two holes here. You just slide it back on and tap your pins back in till they're equally through. They go through both sides, so they come out the other side, and get them set right. So we're going to do that next, and then we're going to move on to see what's left. Okay, so we got the reservoir back on there. I should have added that you want to get yourself a couple cans of brake cleaner and clean out inside here really good. Make sure there's no debris. Any debris, because there's rubber inside here. Any debris or contamination will, mess up the rubber and prematurely wear it out. So, I had a little bit of a fight getting it out. To be truthful, that was the original master cylinder on this truck, and the truck has almost 580,000 miles. So, I believe it. But anyway, I got it off there, and we go to put it back on. You want to put your 2 screws or 2 nuts back on first, and don't forget the bracket that goes on there. That way you'll have some support when you put your lines in. Put your lines in, and then we're going to go over how to bleed it the easy way. So we're going to take care of that and move on. So after you get everything hooked up, you want to fill up your reservoir, and then you need a friend or a girlfriend or a wife or a kid or somebody. And what you do is these are separated, so the back one and the one in the rear is actually the front, and you make sure your reservoir is full. And so these are separate, in other words, back and front are completely separate. So you crack one line a little bit, doesn't matter which one you start with, and tighten it up. Have somebody pump the brakes and hold the brake down. Then you loosen it, and when the pedal goes all the way down, then you tell them to hold the pedal down and you tighten it back up. And you do that until you get a nice stream of fluid out. And again, you probably want to put something underneath of it so the fluid doesn't drip all over wherever. But at any rate, you do that until you get nice fluid out. And make sure they hold the pedal down until you tighten it back up again, because if not, it will pull air back in. And then you repeat the procedure on the other one. Like I say, it doesn't matter which one you do first. And then you do the wheels. Now, it's a good time if you're replacing your master cylinder is to try to get all the old fluid out. In other words, do a basic fluid change. So, generally it doesn't matter if you start in the back or the front, but you want to do the same basic thing. You got bleeder valves on each one of the wheels, and you have somebody hold the brakes, pump the brakes a couple times, 2 or 3 times, hold the brakes, and then open the bleeder valve, and fluid will come out. Now, you want to try to get all the old fluid out. So basically you're doing a fluid change, which every manufacturer recommends about 70,000 miles now. And the fluid can absorb water and have crud in there, and it can be from the master cylinder going bad or just time or whatever. So try to see how much you're putting in there and try to see how much is coming out till you get a nice clean even flow of fluid coming out. So you do the same thing. You hold the brakes, open the valve, the brake pedal will go to the floor, and you hold it there, tighten the valve back up, and then you can release the brake pedal. You're going to need like a big thing of brake fluid. A small can isn't going to do it. So anyway, that's basically how you replace the master cylinder. And like I say, we even got, that's a newer hydraulic brake booster. We got videos on that, brakes on this thing, everything. So be sure to subscribe and take a look at the other things we got, see what else can help you. You have a pleasant day, and thank you for watching.